Art thou ready?
Yep.
So who's making the? Is this dude with 12 subscribers re-uploading a video, or is he part of it?
No, so this is a different dude. He saw the video originally. He's like, he made good argument. He saw the dude Blizby who made the original motion input versus directional input video. He liked it, but the problem was it was getting backlash, not to the point when people were trying to take it down, but people was arguing that he made no real good vital point and was just complaining on it, just like he can't do the input. So
Right.
he took the video down to that pressure. And this dude
Good.
sitting here like, I'm gonna take his legacy off, and you think I'm gonna take this down? There's no chance in hell.
This dude with 12 subscribers has had that.
Yeah.
I mean, if he got true underdog on it. Let's watch the video before we look at the comments.
The comments are heavily fucking just.
Alright, so this is gonna be kind of stupid to watch because he's using some fucking avatar to do all this stupid text and shit.
No narration.
No narration, we have to read. Alright.
Popcorn.
Had popcorn.
Yeah, me you want to share?
It's ruined.
Okay, wait. Are you recording?
Yeah, I am. I've been recording.
What episode are we on? We gotta change the name, bro. We gotta change the name.
Yeah.
We
Again?
gotta overhaul this shit and be consistent, even though that's what we said last time. We gotta be like Genenji.
I like Pipe It Down. It's funny. Let me check. We're on 6. We're on episode 6. uh. All right. We ready, boys?
You ready? Close the shit up.
Let me know if the video's too. He could at least put some music in the background or something. Time to do some cleaning up for this industry. What the fuck is he talking about?
Okay, Pipe It Down episode 7?
6.
6.
6.
Messiah's still having lighting issues. Start the video.
Oh shit. It's just so quiet. Hold on. I kind of can't deal with this quiet shit in the video, bruh. And I can solve that issue today.
Yeah, play Deadly Steam.
Can't.
Get off the dance floor.
Why? And on the net.
It's my eyes, man. I'm using that.
Okay, is this?
We should do the podcast in the morning war when Messiah had light.
That's not the problem. It's the firmware itself.
So when there's sun outside on your window, it still looks like this?
It still looks like this no matter what. The firmware fuck up makes the brightness fuck up. That's why it's so dull. When I had this, it looked fine. Like a couple days afterwards, it just messed up.
Fix it.
Okay, is this music not
I
loud?
can't connect to my internet on my netbook for Windows. That's the problem.
Wait, why not?
It just doesn't work because it requires too much. So I'm not sure because it doesn't. I need to update it for it to find other networks, like the recent ones I have. I changed my network a while back, so I can't connect to these two ones I have. And the thing costs 8 gigabytes worth of space to update, and the netbook doesn't have no space whatsoever.
Yikes! You
That's
better
what
start
I'm
deleting shit.
Terrible.
How are you fixing the silence, Pika?
So I gotta see.
Oh, well, y'all can't hear the music? Only I can hear the music. Okay. Oops. Huh. Uh. Let's see if there's some Discord fuckery I can perform here.
This shit is already like half an hour.
Goddamn my fucking brightness. Headass. Gotcha. Look at fucking Go Lewis.
Probably not, bro.
Weird.
I'm gonna just. We're just gonna just sit. Well, I'm gonna just have to sit in fucking silence. Then, all right. Let's keep watching
The
this
show
shit.
is gone. I guilt.
Those of you who teach others to accept this trash, those of you who think you're qualified to teach others about video games without knowing shit about them yourselves. Without a doubt, people like this are the main reason standards for games have dropped. Because they have thousands, if not millions, listening to the BS coming out of their mouths.
Oh my
Now,
god, this is
false
so bullshit.
information is spread throughout a player base. People knowingly doing that kind of damage to the industry needs to be put in their place. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Don't pause it. Don't pause
You
it.
always
Hey,
pause
hey
and
God,
unpause
Messiah!
when you
Now
want
I
to.
know what you're talking about. Now I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about. Please tell me it's on YouTube. No. Ah, okay, fine. I'll go back. Oh,
I've been meaning to speak on this for a while now, but never. Whatever. Let me tell you a story about an idiot called Bill. It's rather short, don't worry. And spoiler alert, the story doesn't end the way you think it will. Bill, as long as it's taken down where you take. Sharing his opinion on how unnecessary motion game inputs are to the genre. Went viral, sparked a huge discussion about those controllers over the past few months. The majority of people discussing this topic seem to believe motion inputs are essential for fighting games. Quite a few of them have some words about Billsby himself, and as a result, backed out. The story would end out there, but I've chosen to carry on his legacy. You real gamers watching ought to know why I think Billsy's an idiot, but in case you don't,
this thing is cringe.
it's because he had no reason to take the video down because he was right.
Wrong.
In spite of all the backlash he got. Wait, pause the video, pause the video. So just to set grounds to speak upon before we start discussing shit, we all think motion inputs should be in fighting games.
For those that have it, yeah.
Like
Just to,
obviously,
let people know where we're coming from.
like obviously, not every game needs them, but
Like having every game in the future not have them is weird
it's boring as fuck.
and it's stupid.
It's boring as fuck.
Those alright, so play it. Those in favor of motion inputs had very few counter arguments to make. Most of which were false or weak. I can't even call them proper counter arguments. Find you morons ate it up all anyway. Featuring prime example of how misinformation is being spread throughout a player base, which will undoubtedly prevent this genre from improving or growing in the process. I'm not going to make the same mistake Billsy made. This is a topic worth discussing, and calling out fighting game controls for being unnecessarily complicated isn't even an opinion, it's a fact. I'm making that point clear today by trashing these weak-ass counter-arguments personally. And after I finish speaking the truth about these stupid idiots, you can bet your ass that my video isn't going anywhere because you already failed to justify them. So let's take a listen at why motion inputs are necessary for
He's
fighting
mostly
games.
wrong here, but there is a tiny kernel of truth. So let's go ahead and watch it, and we'll talk about it step by step.
Next is easily understandable universals, including
I can barely hear this shit. So here's what I'm gonna do. Oh fuck. Please tell me it's on here.
No.
I can't even fucking spell. What the fuck? So stupid. Motion inputs, true underdog. There we go.
motion inputs are not good.
Okay, so where did he start his... Okay. So now we can hear what the fuck he's saying. Can y'all hear the video?
can hear it.
be wrong here, but
On the screen.
Go ahead.
there is a tiny kernel of
Oh shit, it's on YouTube. I forgot.
The abolishment of motion.
Damn it, wrong fucking one. I gotta switch. Forgot.
Technical difficulties.
I gotta constantly change windows and shit. This
First
one.
one.
Alright, now y'all can see it.
truth. So let's go ahead and watch it, and we'll talk about it step by step.
Next is easily understandable universal mechanics, including the abolishment of motion inputs. I've argued with people about this in the past, and quite frankly, I'm done being patient with this argument. Motion inputs are an ancient relic of fighting games, and they're just simply not needed for any balancing reason at all.
So that's the big hot take the guy.
Alright.
It's a massive hot take.
It's a shitty one. It's a shitty fucking take is what it is. That take is fucking terrible. Like, why the fuck would he even... Ooh, Lord have mercy.
The other dude's video.
I've argued with people about this in the past, and quite frankly, I'm done being patient with this argument. Motion inputs are an ancient relic of fighting games, and they're just simply not needed for any balancing reason at all.
So that's the big hot take that got everybody upset and had him on scrub quotes and everything else. And that's mostly because he's making the arguments that motion inputs need to go away completely, and of course that's not true. Motion inputs exist for two main reasons. For starters, it gives the characters a wider range of inputs for their move list, and this means the character is more unique. Having more moves gives them more personality. Because without motion inputs, the developers are limited to just a single button or a combination of button presses, and you run out of ideas pretty quick. And that's why certain games like Fantasy Strike and Rising Thunder do tend to have very small move lists for each character. And you could argue this does make the characters easier to play, and that is true, but it also means less depth, so players don't stick around that long because eventually they learn the characters and they move on.
It's where the stupid begins. Smaller...
I'll make a fighting game less deep.
Yeah, they do. Because...
Wait, I just want to see what he says.
Okay.
Depth in a fighting game primarily comes from mind games. Anticipating and adapting to your opponent's action. Pause it. Adapting to the other person's movements and actions. It makes it, what did he say? Less what?
So he said smaller move lists don't make a fighting game
Okay, so he
less
kinda-
deep. It comes from the
kind
mind
of like-
games.
He kind of goes back on himself there because there's less for you to think about when the move lists are smaller.
Yeah.
So there's less mind games at play or anticipation because you have less. You and your opponent have less options.
Basically.
So he kind of double backs on himself there.
Like
Yeah.
for fighters, there's light, medium, heavy, special. And then there's just like a special move that's one motion and like what, maybe 3 supers, if that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has an auto, a 6M, a 2H, and any other command normals that you can think of. And that's universal, and that's kind of boring. That's really fucking boring. Like Melty Blood, oh my god. They simplified the shit out of that, bro. A, B, C. C is EX, okay? That's fine. Then D is that stupid shield. Then there's grab and your moon drive and your supers, and that's it. That's it. Everyone has the same shit. And
Injustice 2 had 3 attack buttons, and I think B was like your character's like
yeah, your trait.
like special action trait. Yeah. That's over there.
Okay.
Catching them into making a mistake or catching them off guard. You don't need a big move list to pull that gameplay style off. So many simple games have proven this for years, but how even Smash Bros went over. And it's games that trash controls that don't stick around that have well, he's going too damn fast. Drop them if I haven't made any significant progress. Because it shouldn't take more than a couple hours to get a basic handle on controls. It
Reason
doesn't.
number 2 for motion inputs is it makes moves that are a bit too strong to be a normal attack a bit tougher to do on reaction. So for example, Ryu's Shoryuken. In past games, this move was fully invincible, it's a great anti-air, and it does good damage. So if all of that was possible with a single button,
single
it would be
button.
way too strong.
You think?
And maybe that move didn't need to have all those properties in it. But it's a trait in the series, though. Like, if you
Alright,
continue
like,
with how they want to do stuff,
it's gonna ruin fighting
Street
games.
Fighter is ruined.
Yeah.
Guilty Gear is ruined. Like, a lot of these core series that built the genre. I don't know.
Like,
As a part
Like-
of the mind game. So what did that? If they do an invincible move wake up, it's gonna be very punishable afterwards. If you block it, just dodge it.
Yeah. Like, it's okay to work a little more for a move that is better.
mhm.
You know what I mean? Because if you, for example, if I, what's it called? 2H. If I 2H Messiah's jump in with Ryu, that, or I, medium kick with Balrog to anti-air. I think that's his anti-air.
Yeah.
It has a chance of trading if he jumps in and does a normal. But if I add an input to that, like literally go like this, if I go like this with my thumb and press the button instead of just pressing the button, I beat out that chance of it trading.
Mhm. And Infinity Strike has a perfect balance. Jaina, one of the zoners, has a one button DP, and it's invincible, but she loses health every time she uses it. So there's risks to it.
Yeah.
Or if like the Guile ripoff in Fantasy Strike, he can't throw a fireball walking backwards.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't know, but I don't really like Fantasy Strike, so
And like, hang on.
he's just supposed to be an anti-air, right? So why the fuck was it given invincibility?
Like, does he?
Not just an anti-air.
It's also a reversal move to get you out of
It's
situations.
reversal, it's an anti-air. It has probably one of them has
That's why
probably
it
to go
has
through
the iframe.
projectiles. Like if
And it's
you learn
used
those
in
things,
Mm-hmm.
combos too.
It's also
It's
used in
actually good.
combos.
combos, enders.
Like,
Like, if one move serves multiple purposes and you just have to do a motion before you press the assigned button.
this
No,
nigga's
this is like-
tripping, bro.
How's that saying? Go again. Putting a band-aid over, what do you say?
Put
A
it,
bullet
but
wound.
yeah, over a bullet wound.
Usually was suggested because the move can still be spammed once the input's been mastered. Once the input's been mastered, it's not.
It's not that hard. So yeah, you can spam.
Like,
You can spam DP in neutral, but you'll look fucking stupid if you do it.
where this guy's coming from, it sounds like he's in bronze. Literally just because. I'm not trying to con him or anything. It's because
Oh,
the point that he's making right now is once you master the input, you can spam it. And if he finds that as an issue, then, you know, what does that say about how good he is?
adapt the neutral.
Now, I mean, the argument isn't against him, but I'm saying, like, I don't know, I'm trying to find ways to, like, put this into words. Like, yeah, if I do a fireball, I can spam fireballs, but if you learn the game, and he was talking about mind games earlier and trying to trick your opponent into doing certain shit, like, someone mastering a motion input shouldn't be difficult for you.
Perfect example. You remember that red line guy that we were watching?
Yeah.
He had the choice to either throw a fireball or a DP before that Rashid jumped in. No, before the Sagat had jumped in. But he chose to do a fireball. There's mind games to that too. Like, you can't, like, why do you want a one button projectile? Like, it's not Marvel. I don't want, like, a normal 2D fighter, a one-on-one fighter, to feel like I'm playing Marvel, where just, like, shit gets filled in the screen. I don't want to have Morgan Soulfist Astral with
And
one button.
even Marvel has motion inputs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Always has.
That
And
game
always
is-
will.
That game is fast paced as hell, and there's different ends of the spectrum. Marvel, super fast motion inputs. Sam Show, one of the slowest fighting games out right now, and it also has motion inputs. Like, there's not. I don't know. Play the video.
Oh,
I don't care if people spam moves myself, but if a move's too strong, suggesting that making its input tougher is an effective way to balance it is fucking stupid. Have you ever heard of anyone say that kind of shit when a character or move is broken? Pause it. I haven't heard anybody say that.
me neither. he's
Like,
making shit up. He's making shit
If
up.
a certain character's DP has better, like, traits than another character's DP, you balance the frames, you balance the iframes, you balance the hitboxes. You don't change the input.
Like let's say
Like,
Ken.
it's happened before on certain moves, like, what's it called? Balrog's DP in 5 used to be a charge motion like it was in 4, but they changed it to a DP. That was just something they wanted to do. Like, it wasn't that it was busted when it was a certain motion. The moves traits are what makes it broken if it is.
Yeah.
Not the motion. The
Yeah.
motion makes it easier to do. But
Yep.
if it was easier to do and had more balanced traits, then it wouldn't be such a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
The move's properties to make it. That's literally what I just said. And they includes you morons in favor of motion inputs. So, not to believe they're. So even you believe they're effective. Wait, go back to what he said. Go back like a few seconds. Have you? They suggest changing the move's properties to make it less OP, like any same. Yeah, that's literally what I
you
just
just said that too.
Fine, they includes you morons in favor of motion inputs, but all tougher inputs do is annoying beginners trying to use the moves. So play another character?
Give me an example, like
You-
Kai.
you need
So
I don't know. You need to understand that different, like, KOF is not known for easy inputs. It's known for having all of these cancel shits and it's like all these difficult inputs.
and
when
links
you
too.
master that, that's what makes it fun. That's like what learning a character is about.
Yeah, like I don't get what he's saying because I didn't play fighting games. Well, no, I did, but when Game Tap was a thing, I played like a lot of Street Fighter. The arrows are right there, down, forward. You just
Yeah.
oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Skipping the video. I'm fucking stupid.
Like, even on classic arcades, it has the joystick with the arrows around it to display the motions you can go in.
So you just
Basically.
what's so
And
hard
you can
about
make it
this into
easier on
that?
yourself. They make custom gates for fight sticks.
Sheesh.
All
Sheesh.
tougher inputs do is annoy beginners trying to use the moves, and you can't bet that I'll be revisiting move properties.
Oh shit.
too.
Oh no, 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 no.
Who's running this stream?
Definitely not me, haha.
The
And that's
main
why in
reason
Fantasy
you and
Strike
this
there is a
guy-
character with a you can attack, but it actually does damage to her every time she uses it. But if
I
you
just
ask
said that
me, that's
earlier.
a bit too extreme. It's
Yeah.
much easier to just make it a motion input
Pause,
instead.
pause it.
Wait.
What did you say?
Hang on.
Fantasy
I can't
Strike, there
remember
is a
the title.
character with a you can attack, but it actually does damage to her every time she uses it. But if you ask me, that's a bit too extreme. It's much easier to just make it a
Given the
motion
properties
input.
of the move, no, it isn't. Fuck. In fact, it seems to balance out quite well since Jaina's neither OP or incredibly weak.
Possible cap, but you can have that.
I get that it balances it, but do you want every game to be like this?
Mm-mm.
Like, I don't know.
instead, because now that move that's a bit too strong to be a regular attack with just one button is a bit tougher to do on reaction. However, thankfully, most motion inputs are not tough to do at all.
Yes, the biggest misunderstanding of the argument against motion inputs. Nobody fucking said motion inputs are impossible to do. Well, you're making the argument like they are.
I'm gonna just keep it.
Nobody with a brain in their head anyway. The problem is doing them consistently. That is what frustrates beginners because you're required to make split-second decisions in a match. That's
And that's part of the mind game. Whether it's that's the part of the mind game. That's literally part of
That's
the mind
literally a
game.
part of the mind game. From what you
all
said
Split
earlier.
second distance. That's literally part of the mind game.
sitting down and learning the game is what makes that's like part of the fighting game experience. And if you don't want to sit in training mode and learn your character and learn the matchups, you don't have to. You can just raw dog ranked mode if you want it.
Mm-hmm.
You can go straight into ranked or some games have trials you could play. So if me and Messiah are fighting and I jump in over his fireball and he has enough time to react, if he does a DP motion, right, forward down forward, or the Z motion, which is easier. If he does that and he hits the DP, if that's something he was practicing in training mode, he's learning to do that consistently in more real life situations. If the more, I'm not saying the more complicated an input is, but I don't like literally just like anything else, practice makes perfect.
Yes, sir.
And if there is nothing to practice, what do you like? Everyone's at a stalemate.
Mm-hmm. Cause like I can applaud Power Rangers and Fantasy Strike for making their games like easier. Like if you don't want to do motions, go play Fantasy Strike and go play Power Rangers. But people might not want to play Power Rangers because it's everybody meets Todd in Power Rangers. Everybody has a meeting with Todd in Power Rangers, and some people don't want to do like loops. They want to hop on Strive and press SH special move and get a counter hit for 80% of your life. It's so fucking weird, bro.
Right. And controls intentionally made to be screwed up is a stupid obstacle to deal with. In a game where those moments matter, players should be losing because of the mistakes they make. Not from stupid controls holding them back. That's a general rule of video games across the board. That's why keybinds are such a big deal to players for less demanding games. So it really doesn't make any sense that fighting games can't... Pause it.
Okay,
You can't,
like
can't compare fighting games to other games.
yeah, they're different. Cause like in Mario platformers, you move either from left to right or right to left, meaning the way you move can be reversed at any moment.
And it's like, with the keybinds thing, you can bind buttons to... Like, you can map them to other shit on your controller or keyboard or whatever you're using.
Yeah, they have
And he's
punch
saying-
macros, bro. Like I don't.
He's saying players shouldn't be losing to the intentionally difficult inputs. It's not intentionally
I
difficult.
want to see this dude's opinion on macros too. Actually, that's another thing I need to
Like-
figure out too.
Yeah,
That's literally, it's part of playing the game. Like, if every game was like, oh, Call of Duty or like Uncharted or some shit for some example, like there's
fighting games
difference-
would have died
like-
so long ago.
to be good at Street Fighter and to be good at Call of Duty are two different things entirely. They have some things in common, like with like you turn a corner and somebody's right there, you gonna have you like jump or fucking prone and shoot at the same time, whatever. Same thing. If someone does an unsafe move or whiffs a normal in range, you're gonna be there to punish it. Like there's things that coordinate, but it's different with fighting it. You're supposed to learn how the game, learn the game how it is. Like you need to play the game how it's meant to be played, you know?
Yeah. Like I don't. it's a common trait in fighting games. Like if you're on either side, the controls get reversed. I don't see why you would want to do the same input when you're facing left or when you're facing right. I'd hate to see this dude play Tekken. I hate to see him play Tekken, bro.
I didn't mean like played how it's meant to be played. Like that's really a thing, because there's not really any set way a certain fighting game is meant to be played. But
True.
so, I don't know. I just feel like if in the game, you shouldn't be whining about what the developers give you in the game. Like, fundamental wise, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if a DP is a certain motion because it has these properties, like, that's just, you should just learn it. Like, you use that in certain situations. I don't know. I play the video. I'm not even talking about fighting games at this point. It's easy to choke in any game testing your reflexes. Shoot 'em ups, rhythm games, pinball, oh, but those games don't use motion inputs. So that's just instantly makes them easy for anyone to master, right?
In summary,
Nobody
the
said
reason the
that.
super
Nobody
move has
said
a more
that.
difficult input in a lot of fighting games, and so you can't do it on a moment's notice to punish absolutely anything, at least not without practicing a bunch. And then on top
Super
of that,
moves
this
which
move
exist to
also
do a
becomes
large amount of damage shouldn't be able to punish absolutely anything in the first place. They don't.
Let's tell that to Chun-Li in Third Strike.
They don't punish absolutely everything, which is why
Which is
like,
why some of them are just the same
takes more
input twice with
motion
a button.
because it does more damage and it has a certain use.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
And use doesn't come out easily, so you don't misinput it.
Yep.
right, like if I misinput a super, all my meter is gone and I have nothing to go off of.
And that's a risk.
That's
Further
all your
reward.
resources gone.
All
That's the
your
mind
meter
game.
is gone. Like, oh man, that's like,
Like if you want just like KOF, like target count with just pressing light, like punch like 4 times, and you have 3 bars of meter that does like big super, you're not gonna get that in every fighting game ever.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Right.
God's trust.
like to dumb it down, Fireball is quarter circle forward punch in most situations. But Metsu Hadoken, big Fireball, is 2 quarter circles with 2 punches. Or punch and kick, whatever that says. Yeah, 3 punches. So you need to do more to get more out of what you're doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They don't punish absolutely everything.
Cause imagine if every super was like what is it? I think it's Super Art 3 with Chun-Li in Third Strike. Imagine if every super was like that with one button. That would be terrifying. That would actually be fucking terrifying. Jesus.
becomes tougher to do under pressure. If you and the opponent are both
At
very
most, they
low
should
on
only
life and the
punish
opponent
other
makes a
risky moves
mistake
that
and you
leave you
barely
super
catch it,
vulnerable
maybe
to
you can't do
counterattack.
that input in time. And once again, that's by design. It's supposed to be something tough to pull off under pressure, which is why it's a bit more complicated than the other typical inputs.
A 4-frame super? Kai, you explain yourself. You dirty Superman Bane. Explain yourself, buddy.
I don't know. I wasn't aware on that. Framed out of that.
You're part of the problem.
Playing a speed round of can you do this input isn't what fighting games are about. That's not what it's about, but it's part of the fighting
Part
game.
of the game.
Fighting games are what he said it's about earlier. Mind games and tricking your opponent and doing all that stuff. But doing motion input is just part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a round is who can outsmart their opponent. Or who can capitalize on their opponent's mistakes.
Or who can rob the other person faster.
Right.
No names, no names, no
humble
names.
the Ibuki main
Damn.
first.
Yeah, oh,
Playing a
God,
speed round of can you do this input isn't what fighting games are about. Yeah, that's not what they're about. That just happens to be part of them. Part of some, sorry.
So selling
Selling
stupid
stupid
inputs as a design choice that adds to the gameplay.
is absolutely stupid. To then capitalize on that opportunity you may or may not be ready for without freezing up or panicking yourself. That is the essence of a fighting game. That Superman attack you talk about in subtitles is another prime example of giving a move too much. It's laughable that you think you're justifying motion inputs by showing how stupidly OP moves are. Anyone with a brain thinking at this point in your video, that
Would
attack
not
could have
argue
just
for this in
Had a
any
slower
way.
startup.
I'm not even gonna break.
Yeah. Change the properties on the move if it's, you know, if there's a problem with it.
Let's just keep
If
watching.
Superman
There's a
Oh wait, never mind.
starts up in 4 frames, if it starts up too fast and does too much damage, you lower the damage and make it have more startup frames so it's more reactable.
Or you could just not whiff a big move in full screen.
Like, right.
Or bait the super. But on Injustice, it's rare that someone uses their whole bar just for the super. The
Yeah,
supers
true.
are usually just for show at this point.
reasonable argument for motion inputs as a base core design.
This point right here is honestly the weakest one in his entire argument. The idea that no other genre has motion inputs is like me playing a fighting game and complaining that I can't scope in. There's no reason to scope in a fighting game. You don't have to aim at the character in that way from a first-person perspective.
Happy
so of
Chaos?
course a first-person shooter isn't going to have motion inputs. However, a first-person shooter is a good example here, because while the player does handle most weapons the same, there are certain guns that are stronger than others, and as a result they have restrictions on them. For example, a sniper rifle in Call of Duty requires you to scope in to get an accurate shot, whereas most regular guns can be fired from the hip and they're still pretty accurate. And the reason the sniper rifle can't do that is because the damage is so high. It kills most players in a single shot. And as a result, that gun requires you to scope in. Even if you quickscope, it still requires a special level of skill to use effectively, otherwise it would be way too strong. And the same can also be said for a rocket launcher in Halo. The rocket launcher has a huge area of impact and does a ton of damage. And since in most Halo games your character moves very slowly, it's very easy to kill you with that weapon, and as a result it travels very slowly, which is actually not true to how most RPGs behave in real life. They travel very quickly, but in Halo you move very slowly, and the move does a ton of damage, has a big area of impact, so it has to travel slowly or it wouldn't be fair. And even the Spartan laser is a great example of this. It does a ton of damage and kills pretty much everything in its path, but it has to charge for a good time before it fires.
Hey pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
I don't think they said that shit.
Pause it. You just try to compare motion inputs to move properties acting as if they're similar. So what he's saying, what Underdog was saying is the slowness of the rocket, the slow rocket traveling is what a motion input is in a fighting game. And the big explosion radius, which is so good, is the move properties of the DP. You work more for better moves. It's not that hard to understand.
It's really not.
You play it.
Okay. Where is it? There
I'm
it is.
dumb-faced. I'm just dumb-faced for it.
And you think you're qualified to tell people what is or isn't essential for fighting games? In fact, every attempt you made to smell motion inputs means balancing was a fucking joke. Because you always had to explain how it was a move's properties that made it OP, and just now in those pathetic comparisons to shooters you made. You showcase how properties are used to make OP moves weaker when necessary, but you're a special kind of stupid, so of course you couldn't put 2 and 2 together. It's the job of a move's properties and those properties alone to make the move balanced. Be it giving a powerful move drawbacks to exchange for its power, or just not making a move stupid or no fucking reason in the first place. That all boils down to how its properties are set up. And you think motion inputs are comparable to that? I think balancing an OP move by not. Once the input's mastered, your so-called drawback becomes non-existent. Only those who don't care about wasting away in training mode are. And I don't blame anyone for thinking that way, because that's a stupid way to start getting into a game. Having to put up with a stupid system like that because another idiot like you had the same delusion. Thinking motion inputs should be doing the job move properties already exist for. Motion inputs aren't similar in ways to move properties, nor can they ever. Substitute in the tragedy of all this is that you managed to convince thousands to believe this, even though you blatantly contradicted your entire argument.
One final thing I do want to touch on that I forgot to mention earlier, and I'm kind of face palming for that, is that Street Fighter V, a very popular mainstream fighting game, already has characters without motion inputs. You have Ed, and you also have Falk. Both of these characters don't rely on motion inputs for the most part. Instead, you have multiple buttons that are used for their special moves. And for me personally, that was actually tougher than a command input because it was so different. It just felt weird for me and very alien. But I imagine for a casual player, it wasn't that tough to make the adjustment. And I will admit that just pressing 2 buttons to do an invincible Shoryuken is way easier than trying to do a Dragon Punch. And the same was also true for the anti-airs. It's pretty much impossible to jump on Falk or Ed if the player knows what they're doing, because they can react on a dime and just boom, 2 buttons, pow, anti-air. And the reason I bring those characters up is they do not have a cooldown. So no motion inputs, but also nothing else to really compensate for it. And even so, those characters aren't considered absurdly OP. I don't think so. I know Ed's definitely not top tier. He was terrible, and now I think he's middle tier, maybe barely above middle tier. And I think Falk is a bit above that, but I don't think she's top 10 or top 5. But it's been a very long time since I played Street Fighter, but she is better than Ed. So as you can see right there, we have 2 characters in a mainstream fighting game without any motion inputs. So this guy wasn't completely wrong, and that's why I made this video. He's wrong for the most part, but he's not wrong completely.
I guess we're all brain dead then.
At least I wasn't the only person on the internet who sees your BS. Your argument comparing fighting games with FPS is bad. Everything you said about Halo could be applied to fighting games, and that is why there is no reason to bounce around difficulty of execution.
Cooldowns are analog to charging shots. Animation delay and projectile speed is
I said project. Wait, your argument comparing fighting games with FPS is bad. Everything you said about Halo could be applied to fighting games. Yeah, that's what he was saying.
And that's why there's no reason to bounce around difficulty of execution. Cooldowns are analog to charging shots. Animation delay and projectile speed is comparable to the RPG slow projectile.
He said that's why there's no reason to bounce around difficulty of execution.
Like they're acting
That's what
like
this entire video is about. They want the execution part gone.
like they're acting like they have to constantly do it every single time. Like if you're like if you're at Evo top 8, yeah, you have to have that shit down pat. But if you're just getting into a game and starting out, you learn how to do that over time.
Like, if everything didn't have a motion input, like, what's the skill to the game?
Right. Like
anyone can see that you're jumping or see that you're doing this.
And then just press a button.
It depends on what they do. That split-second decision that he was talking about earlier, that decides who wins that trade or who's a better player. That's why there's big tournaments like Evo and not everybody makes it through pools. That's why these higher players get the praise and win tournaments, because they put time into the game and learn the game and fundamentals.
Yep.
If there was a big tournament, like if there was a combo breaker for Fantasy Strike, like literally you could pick up any character and, oh, these 4 buttons do these 4 things. Okay. Like, you have to learn the matchup with the character you choose and learn the character you chose. And I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but there's no, I'm not saying there's no skill level to 1 button to like no motion input games, because Power Rangers is a thing, but I don't know.
Alright, next.
Wait, go back? Go back like 10 seconds? He just contradicted himself there.
What do you mean impractical special inputs? I hope he
They're
gives us
not
an
di-
example.
Pause it. He doesn't want them to be difficult to input consistently. They won't be if you continue to do them.
What does he mean by impractical? Because he didn't even.
He's talking
In a
about,
consistent rate.
yeah, he's talking about, oh, when somebody jumps and I have to do a reaction in that split second, I shouldn't have to be like, oh, with the button, like Z.
That's
with the
literally
button.
now you're going from the motion, just learning the simple, just precision to the motion, to now you're learning precision and timing. That's something you have to go to training
And
mode and
you
learn.
don't have to use a special move for an anti-air or like a footsie. That's what your normals and
You
command
have
normals
normal
are
for that.
for.
Right.
Abigail
There's
crouching
not
heavy
really,
punch.
like, unless he's specifically talking about shit like KOF, where it's these. And
Crouching, I think almost every crouch and every punch of KOF now is like, especially the new one has anti-air property at
Really?
least.
Oh wow.
And then almost everyone to almost everyone, I
Mm.
think at this point.
like
So the free anti-air.
that's such a dumb thing to say. Like an input shouldn't be hard to do on a consistent basis. Well, if you continue to do it, you'll learn to do it on a consistent basis.
Like all you have to do is just practice.
Like,
It's
I don't
not
know
that
if he's
hard.
expecting to hop into a game blind and consistently do shit.
He's trying to be
That's
like
None of that
Leffen.
works.
He's trying to be like Leffen and get mad and say that Tekken is cheese bait when he doesn't know how to fucking play the game properly.
Right.
Good lord. My request to solve this issue would be a simple one which was implemented in fighting games before, which is an option that gets rid of diagonal inputs.
So like
He said that's all I ask.
stylish versus what were the other things called?
As one who's most comfortable with the D-pad when playing. Can you keep playing it? I'm playing.
Yeah, I'm also comfortable with the D-pad when playing a fighting game.
It feels so much better pressing the buttons in a sequence quickly, as opposed to sliding my thumb across them.
Guilty Gear Accent
don't know
Core
how
games had this
significant
option
this
in the extra menu, which
I
you
don't know
unlock
how
by beating the
significant
mission
this
mode.
change
Yeah.
is to you, but when I play the game, so he's saying
He used to just do the motion or do the input. What? Hang on.
so to him here.
Cause I got plus R open right now, so we
Look,
gonna
look,
have
look,
to.
look, look. To him, this shit is. Why is it blurred? Look. To him,
I can
instead
see
of
it.
doing this, rolling your hand across it, he wants to do this. Press down and forward instead of doing diagonal. That's what he's talking about.
Cause I got this shit downloaded.
So basically like
where-
Mom?
like how Blaze Blue, they have the stylish versus what the other thing's called. I forget what it's called.
Yeah,
Technical?
Technical versus stylish.
yeah.
But one, I don't know what the other one does basically. But I know one's like all the regular
Stylish.
regular inputs.
What stylish does, it just like takes away all control,
I mean, motion.
kind of, when you like play a game. Is it in here? I wonder. Because I
You
don't
guys
think I have it
can check
unlocked.
one reach, I don't know.
But like, I don't see what's so hard about doing a fucking motion. Like, here's an example. So Tasman's Beast is that shit down there. It's half circle back forward,
No, okay.
and so usually what you do is this, right? But you can hold this to make it hit meaty. So, damn, I fucked it up. Hold that, let it go. And I had to learn that. And this too, doesn't even like. It's sometimes hard to do because the S won't fucking come out, and you have to tiger knee the last one. Like, I don't see what's so hard about doing the input, bro. It's not.
Right, you learn the input by doing it consistently. You shouldn't be able to just jump in and do shit consistently.
Facts.
Well, what's the challenge to the game?
It wants to make bread and butter easy. Like, I still don't get it. Like,
Like, I don't.
What he said, he actually said, remove diagonals. So instead of pressing quarter circle forward, instead of doing down back, rolling your thumb across the D-pad, he wants to press down and back. You can still do that.
Mm-hmm.
You can still do that. I don't see the problem or what he's trying to say. You don't have to roll your finger across the shit to get your input out. Like for a DP, you can press forward, down, forward, and get a DP.
Yeah, you can.
basically.
Like Cliff. That's his DP. He just forward, down, forward, and then he just mash heavy slash. But if I just do this, then I'll get no satisfaction from just doing this. I'd rather have the motion there.
Big ass money.
Like, come on now. I don't.
Go back to the video.
I got you. I got
Yeah.
you.
I'm sure it's based around like motions and properties. Like he thinks two don't correlate to one another, but it's the move itself that has a property. It's not about the motion input needing to have
Yeah.
the motion input balances with the property. It's the move itself. It's not that.
Pop character? Like, what is this?
Wait, what?
What is OC? Is from Pop Tropica?
No, it's from
Gotcha something.
Yeah, gotcha something. I think it's Gotcha Life or some shit.
Yeah.
Really infamous for being very, very cringe. Trust me.
Said and get better at the fighting. The most the special moves are part of the fighting. You don't
Yeah.
have to. I don't know what he's talking about. You can still press the actual inputs instead of swinging your thumb across them.
He's just saying that he can't do the motion consistently, and that if he loses in some scenarios where he should win because he can't do the input. So basically, he's like saying though, like it's like picking a gun and just like playing a shooter and picking a gun and just shooting it. I think that's like what I want to do. But basically, in a shooter, you have to learn the recoil pattern. This recoil pattern.
Yes, there's fucking recoil pattern, there's fucking Apex and shit, bro. You can't just pick up a gun and be good with the off rip.
I think like, oh, my gun's going off and doing my tracking. Not gonna worry about tracking. Not about the recoil pattern. Not gonna worry about flinching from being shot. Blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And my health pool too. Like these are all things you gotta learn in order to play a shooter. Shooter's not just pick up a gun and shoot. Sitting on a mobile. Mobile is not just like I like my abilities. I can just ult and kill them instantly. It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that. Like in shooters, it's map awareness, the attachments, shooting at someone while you're getting shot at because the bullets make you flinch, and the movement. MOBAs, you have to know how to build. You have to hit your shit. You have to not be fucking garbage.
Enemy doesn't like the current Smash. They can like Smash because there's like no hard accessibility to doing the move itself. And then there's the mind game.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure like even if there are properties of some of the moves in Smash though. That's something I don't know about. That's something I don't. But he's just saying that like, oh my god, that it's just like he wants to be able to do anything and everything while not having to worry about a motion input holding it back.
He just wants the basics.
You just want the basics, and that's it. I don't think it's really just the basics, but it's more just the fact that he feels like he should be able to oki anytime he wants to. He should be able to feel like he should able easy to do the special move itself from the
Doesn't
fact there's
want
no
to learn
motion
the
input.
fucking game.
He doesn't want to learn. So I probably despise the fact that he doesn't probably doesn't like guest characters from other fighting games that have motion inputs, like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Terry, Ryu, Ken,
like that's
And
what I'm
Kazuya.
saying.
Kazuya.
Cause like I remember when I used to play Extra with David, I wanted to try May on
Yeah.
stylish because I thought that like it would do a combination of me like getting the easy ass combo while still keeping the motions. Hell no, you can't. It won't let you do it. It
Mm.
won't let you do it. It rips away the control from you, and I fucking hate that shit. So I was like, fuck this. I'm not even about to worry with that. No, thank you. Next point. Get a handle on the basics first, and you learn more tricks. Hey, guess what? The tricks are the special moves, and the supers, and the Oki, and the neutral, and the setups, and the fucking tech,
Literally everything else but what he's talking about.
and the matchups, and the frames, and the hitboxes, and the hurtboxes.
Hmm.
You're never supposed to be stuck at the controls. You know what? Almost every like fighting game with a tutorial, they tell you to move with the D-pad, press these buttons to do shit, and that's it. It is your job to know what inputs for each character do what, be it a
The
motion or a
basic
charge.
controls are moving, jumping, and pressing the buttons. The special moves are that's part of the game. Yeah, you use the basic controls to do that stuff, but he's saying he literally wants his. He's like, "Can you hold my hand so I could jump right into the action?"
Facts.
Like he wants a simple ass tutorial. Like you can jump into action as soon as you want. He's expecting to literally get on a game blind, hop into a match, and just be OD at everything.
Just like Leffen.
But
Just
There's
like
really people who
Leffen.
have fun without actually learning the game, and that's true.
Yeah.
I see people stream like Street Fighter 5 who are really stuck in like rookie and bronze because they don't care about actually learning the game. They care about actually having fun,
Mhm.
and that's how they actually play. They have fun. They don't want to be. They don't really want to learn how to
and
consistently do
that's
everything.
not saying motion using motion inputs and doing shit is not fine.
He made more point besides motion inputs. Made more point of mind games.
Make the controls
But I gotta go
doable
back and look at that on my own time.
so that players can jump in the action sooner. Well, have fun playing Strive and Melty, cause they enable that shit. Kinda. You actually,
MK11.
if especially fucking MK.
No, this dude can't play Strive because there's half circles. That's too much for him.
Oh yeah, he'll drop the game and be terrified like, oh no.
Right. Actually start learning the game. Special moves are part of learning the game.
He said, we we don't need mash one button to do preset combo. That doesn't give us control over what moves we use. Well, Rev 2 has fucking stylish mode, so I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. You really don't need it in Strive because everyone's basic combo is slash heavy slash in the special move,
Mhm.
which makes it even more fucking brain dead than before. Jesus Christ. I don't know why Guilty Gear's newer game dropped the no diagnose options for trash like that.
Wait, what do you say? Go back.
Wait a minute.
Giggle, but I gotta read the full thing. I saw the catacomb.
If Visit Gun Reloaded, Fighting Rage, and Catacomb Kids.
Catacomb Kids are all the
I
same
have fighting.
games.
I have Fighting Rage on my Switch. And that, so in Fighting Rage, all
So is
the
he basing his complaining off of these 3 games?
Fighting Rage is a beat 'em up, and guess what? It has motion inputs for the special moves. Ricardo, the big bull, can do a DP. Ooh, scary. And the other 2 can do shit too. Like the ninja guy, he's based off of Guy, basically, and he can do he can do guy shit. And they have trials for all the characters, so you can do these long combos that require motion inputs.
Right.
I don't get it.
Keep playing it. It's almost done. But I don't need to slave away in training mode to get good at them because their controls weren't shit.
I'm pretty sure it says something when even Dark Souls a poster boy for the difficulty in gaming.
You can't. He made fun of Underdog for comparing it to FPSs, and he's comparing shit to Dark Souls.
Dark Souls, I literally watched a video about this.
Dude, yeah, he can't be any older than like 12.
In Dark Souls, you attack, you roll. That's the basic things. But it's everything. The world is literally made to be against you. Niggas pop out the corners. Niggas pop out from behind. Niggas pop up from behind you, from the club. Like, they're everywhere. You can get jumped, fall off a cliff, be pushed off the cliff, be jumped while getting pushed off the cliff. And the bosses will have these big sweeping moves that will just do damn near half or all of your health. That's why Dark Souls is hard. Not because it has motion inputs. The fuck is he talking about, bro? When developers get good at making good controls, okay. Look, I literally watched this video. Let's
talk about control.
Look,
in every game, there's a barrier between the players and the game that the designers need to work around. In order to overcome this barrier, the players are given specific controls for their character that they can execute. In fighting games, developers wanted to add more moves to characters, but only had limited amount of buttons. While things such as proximity inputs and directional inputs did help give characters more normal moves, developers wanted to add powerful moves that needed more work to be executed than just pressing a button. Thus, the creation of motion inputs were born, and the endless debate on if they're gatekeeping or not started. But that's not what we're here to talk about today.
Gatekeeping? And I know this is going to be controversial if anybody sees this at all, but you must have like what is stopping you from doing, like, you must have a disability.
Like, oh, and you know what?
And
there's no
I'm not even saying that to make fun of disabled people. Look at Broly Legs.
Bro, I was just about to say, Broly Legs uses his mouth. Sven is blind, and he plays Ken.
He does motion inputs. At that point, there's no excuse.
He's a good ass player.
If Sven, a blind Ken player, can win in a tournament, if Broly Legs can play Chun-Li, a charge character, and be good,
and that's
there's
not
no
saying
excuse.
If you're blind, and you can't learn a fighting game, that sucks. That's not what that means. Or if you're missing a limb and you can't, and you're not good at this fighting, and get good.
There was a nigga
with these restrictions can do it. You
Where is he?
can, without those restrictions, can 100% do it. But you don't have to slave away in training mode to do anything.
Where is it?
You play
Where
with
is
the
it?
people that are as good as you, in good games at least.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Cause there was a nigga at Tekken Finals with no hands. Hang on. Player with no hands. Cause this dude who played Tekken. Here it is. Here it is.
Kokoma. I get to see that. It was nice Demon Steel.
He's
pedal
playing
follow
Jin.
here from the Wraith kick into the laser
Jin?
cannon.
Yeah, I think Kudan. It's going to be hard for Guy there because Kudan is very comfortable in this matchup.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing is a lot of the Korean players.
Look, he did an electric, and he has. Let me see if I can find like the exact frame where they get up and hug each other.
What an amazing match!
He has.
Everybody give it up for both of these players.
He barely has a hand. He did an electric, and his hands look like that. You have no excuse. Do you hear me? You have no excuse.
Players.
I don't know.
That was
Maybe
amazing.
comparing it
And
to
again-
shit like this is wrong, but I just
Maybe.
that dude in the video is literally complaining about. It's a first world problem. No, I don't think that's the way to put it. That puts it on a bigger scale that it's not even on.
Just saying that it's a huge problem, but these people actually literally have disabilities, like disabilities that like you think will restrict them from doing many things in life. These people play with a no controller, no macros, no special edition controllers like how Xbox done, and still learn how to like really play the game with a
That might be
not controller everybody really uses.
That might be blowing it up to something that it not even is, but
Yeah.
the point is you're bitching about something you're capable of.
You're capable, no matter what. Anybody's capable, no matter what. If you actually put the time in to learn that.
In a fighting game with motion inputs, you don't have to slave away in training mode.
No, you don't.
You don't have to. You can go straight into online.
Right, nothing like
But
there's.
you're gonna learn the
nothing
game
stopping
regardless.
you. Facts.
Yeah.
You're gonna learn that not using training mode makes you shit at the game. And that's not saying you have to use training mode. You can use online as, experience to learn.
That's true.
But there's certain characters' movesets that there's just some shit where if you don't go by yourself and practice it, you're never gonna go past a certain rank or beat a certain character.
Facts. Stuck in bronze.
Honestly.
This problem is just
Go look at the comments
games
on
and
this video. I want to see what people
skill
Oh,
gap
yeah, I
and
forgot
skill
about the
ceiling.
fucking-
How there shouldn't be that. Well, every game, no matter what, has that gap, no matter what.
Yeah. Let me go back to that video.
Even things that shouldn't even be a mechanic in a game is mechanic in a game, like canceling. Even like you see, like no matter the fighting games, the MOBAs, fighting rounds and shit like that, shooters.
Kai, it looked like your head hurt. Look, motion inputs are great. Imagine if the Hado wasn't a motion input. It'd be so easy for a beginner to spam. Like,
See what the replies are because the dude replied.
should I zoom out? Cause I don't. Oh shit, cancel. They're not showing. None of. What the fuck? Okay, let me reload this. Your argument just further proves how pointless motions are. In your idea scenario where Hadouken becomes easier to use with time, it can still be spammed, resulting in your great motion accomplishing absolutely nothing. Wasting a week or so to do a move that's so that's so basic in your move list isn't progress. And so what if they can spam? Learning how to counter it instantly counters
Look
that.
under that, where they're talking about Electric Wind Godphase. This dude's literally
Also,
so
tell me how you would balance God
he's
Fist.
expecting you to take away the motion input and add startup frames.
Oh my god. This reminds me, y'all remember when I was playing Tekken and I found a someone used a program to bind a button to wave dash so they
Yeah,
could
that's
do
something to do like
electrics, and I was like, that's the most brain dead shit I have ever seen in my entire life. You literally just so much skill. Electrics are supposed to be hard because they're fast. They do a shit ton of damage you can juggle with them. Like, I don't. It ended up being the same. The motion so he said the motion input slows the move down, making it harder to act with. I. It's
Slow
one
down.
frame. It's a one. I.
Like he's like, oh,
It's a
take
just
away,
frame
take away
move
the
for a
input, take away
reason.
the input, and do more, have more startup frames. Do you just want to do that universally? That fucks everything.
Facts.
Like
Imagine if
every
electric
game
was
is gonna
one button.
be the same. Like
Electric would be broken if it was one
not be the
button.
same, but it'd be
it would. It would.
very, very similar. Like this
It's
is
safe as shit. I'm pretty sure it's hard to punish.
Electric, you can duck it, but that's just if you want to react to it.
And it's
You want to
hard
guess it.
to react to, maybe. But if you... this nigga's blowing my mind, bro. I can't see the rest of his reply for some reason.
scroll down more. Your stream quality just went to shit.
Oh yeah, it
But
says that sometimes.
look at the video too, just see what you're looking at.
It's obvious you don't know what an electric is, so you could just go real quick. Go watch Main Man Squeeze. You're referring to the damage bonus requirements of the motion input. You do know you don't need motions to create timing conditions. You can just use one input to start up the attack and follow with another to use the attack. Facts, like combo damage in Tekken is like high, and people always bitch about that, right? Kazuya can get like possibly a clean 120 if he juggles like what five electrics plus like a wall break or a balcony break. That's damn near a death combo in Tekken. So why the fuck would you want electrics to just press a button? Just press two buttons.
What he's saying is take away the motion and add more disability to the move, if that makes sense. Add more negative effects to the move.
But that will ruin the...
He's whining about, oh, how are beginners supposed to do this? Just make the move one button and give it more negative effects.
But the point of the electric...
Then how does that separate beginners from intermediate players?
Facts. Because the point of
can
the...
just do the same shit off a rip.
Because
That's another problem. He doesn't want that skill gap either.
Yeah,
He
there
didn't
would
put out the
literally
video,
be
but
no
he put
skill
out some in
gap.
the comments.
Like, dude wants to go straight to the pro leagues. You need to learn.
Like, the point of the electric is to be fast, do the thing, and be a cool move. But what? This makes no sense. You've already... Okay. I think you're forgetting
Okay,
you said...
seriously, you expect me to take the shit? Wait, scroll down to Luigi, dude.
Oh, yeah, this one.
Yeah, that one, his
Seriously, when
response
you
is like,
question
Oh, shit.
what-
Oh, shit.
what
Oh,
the
shit.
fuck is going on?
I zoomed in too
Why
much.
an anti-air like sure you can have movement meant to deal with jumping attacks, which will cause damage if they hit you, has invincibility. Shuriken's input actually has another disadvantage to it other than making it harder to react to. You can't block without interrupting the input, so if you fuck up the timing. Also, I'm curious, do you think auto aim should be a mechanic? The only expectation I have of commenters like you is to make stupid art. Play the intro music. This is over with. I'm not doing this no more.
No, just read the full thing.
No,
Read
no,
the full
no,
thing.
no,
Read
no.
the full thing.
Keep.
Read the full thing.
Oh shit, there's more.
The only
Damn.
Mechanic in shooters, because you could also make the argument that aiming in shooters plays some role as motion inputs in fighting games, adding an extra barrier of execution for people to hone and get good at. If someone doesn't want to bother at getting good at consistently doing DP motions or quarter circles, then they should stick to Fantasy Strike or Smash, but that doesn't mean they should start complaining about motion inputs being bad design.
Thank
There's a
you.
reason that motion inputs are being implemented in modern fighting games to this day, not because they serve a purpose, but because they can be a good marker of improvement. If you start the day not being able to do a simple quarter circle and end the day being able to do Guilty Gear input, that feels amazing. And just because they can be harder for newer players doesn't mean they don't serve a purpose, just that they require slightly more execution than a newcomer might be able to pull off. I mean, what more can you say?
Oh my fucking god.
That's what I want to read.
Hold on.
Are you saying that the thing only has you can only has one move, one property itself, just to be an anti-air? It's not just an anti-air. It's used to end combos, get combo damage, used before canceling to super, and like has projectile invincibility, probably like the medium version of Shoryuken.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just a one property move. You just think it's just used simply for anti-air, and he can't react in time to do the input fast enough in order to get an anti-air. I'm good.
The only expectation I have of commenters like you is to make stupid arguments like the ones you've made in both your comments. Invincibility is an unnecessary property for a move to punish an opponent that's in the air.
Yeah.
Like, does he not know?
Invincibility is needed because you're doing that move for a reason. I shouldn't have invincibility on my crouching heavy punch. But if I do the motion, I gain that invincibility. But during the move, I can't air block or do any other
Right,
thing.
and there's no
Once I'm
air
done
block.
with the motion, it's settled.
Like, there's no air block in Street Fighter. So if you whiff a move in the air and I do DP, that's your fault. You get punished. But if you jump and whiff a move and I just press a button, where's the skill? I'm just pressing like one button or down in heavy punch to just do a fucking anti-air move that has other properties attached to it. Good lord.
Pretty sure plenty of normal anti-airs that aren't invincible have already proven this for years. What invincibility does do for an anti-air is make the move broken by allowing it to counter more than just aerial attacks. It's a reversal.
What invincibility does do for an anti-air, make the move broken by allowing it to counter more than just aerial attacks.
Or you will be risky to use if the invincibility was taken away. Because without it, you can only punish aerial attacks, and you can only punish successfully by reacting in time. Guess Shoryuken doesn't need a stupid input to be balanced after all. And here we go again, another moron trying to use shooters to justify motion inputs when shooters don't use motion inputs. Neither does Dark Souls. The inputs used to shift your aim and fire your bullets are so simple, so your ability to do these actions effectively isn't determined by an execution barrier. What you fail to understand on both counts is that just because you're able to execute inputs doesn't mean you've mastered a game. You still have to improve with how you use them to truly get better. That's what actually feels amazing to do when playing a video game. Or are you stupid enough to believe that newcomer to a fighting game like Smash or Fantasy Strike is going to instantly be a pro the moment they start playing? I wouldn't put it past you since you're doing input to use essentially what is a basic ass move. Doing the input isn't what feels good. Doing the input and applying it to the correct situations is that's the fulfilling feeling you get.
Yeah, that shit feels nice.
Learning a matchup.
Basically.
Like,
once you learn all the basic shit, like in Fantasy Strike, once you learn what each of your buttons do, you just like it's just simple.
basically.
Like that's ridiculous.
Like I don't know what he wants, and Jaina contradicts everything because, like I said, it's invincible, but you lose 1 bar of health for each use.
But that's what this guy's saying.
So like if I don't
That's just how Fantasy Strike is. Like it's an extremely simplified game, and that's just how the developers wanted it to be.
Well,
And
my
that's
opinion,
fine.
of all the things he wants is simple inputs personally, to say rate motion inputs, because it says no purpose, you can do them input in a simple way, you get it. So games have done that. SoCal, when they put Hammer as a guest character. I could do the motion input, or you can do directional input. Directional input does less damage than motion input. I mean, no, the motion input does less damage than the directional input. So, I mean, no, the directional input does less damage than motion input. So basically, one input that's button does less damage than motion plus button. Then the people that complain about that, like DNF do, how doing a motion input,
mhm.
you don't recover mana as fast and doing the directional input, which is true. But this is the things they teach you. That now, if you learn a motion input, you get a better reward. This is damage.
Yep.
But he wants so that everything's simplified, just a button press, and that direction of button press, so that
He wants to learn. Yeah, he wants everything to be simplified.
and then so he get into just get in the game, play on, have fun, just play, get better into it, and just play mind games. That's all he really wants.
Like the skill
But
gap is so much smaller when you don't need to do motion inputs. I think, yeah.
but he doesn't want that either. He don't want a skill gap either. But then he also contradicts himself by saying he says that even if there's simple inputs, not everything's gonna be parry god. So I'm just confused on the fact that like if you just want simple inputs, do you just
It sounds like he wasn't able to DP enough anti-airs on reaction enough, and so he got enemies
So he made a video about it.
I didn't even see what you're typing.
yeah, I can't either. It's still terrible quality right now. But it's still, even if the game does have motion directional inputs all in one, basically, you're going to be less rewarded for doing a directional input than a motion input, no matter what. If two cores coexist with each other. That's just a God-given fact.
And
At
if
the
a
end of the day,
game,
I don't know
game
what this
starts
dude.
like that, like from if a new IP comes out and that's how it is, if it's a one button for every like a one button press for this, one button press for this, that's how it is from
Basically.
the start, then yeah, that's fine. Go crazy. But if you convert games like Guilty Gear and Street Fighter to do all this simple shit, like it doesn't work because it's been a certain way for so long. And there's a reason why games like Fantasy Strike and all these other, whatever else one button input games haven't gone to Evo, haven't had these like extremely backed tournaments because people don't want to see that shit.
Oh,
People want to see skillful gameplay at a high level, which is why they pay money to go to these tournaments, pay money like add to the Matcherino. Shout out to
Go ahead and donate to the Match Arena guys. Just do little challenges and you'll donate. So funny.
like there's a reason shit like, and that's I mean that's a classic thing in fighting games.